This is ATL Day Ones, part of Locked On Sports Atlanta. And it starts now.
It is ATL Day Ones with Jarvis and Tenitra. It is a Friday, a feel-good Friday. Y'all, we got a lot on board for y'all today, right? So we're going to start off with the top three with Jarvis and T. We're going to start you off with that. Then we got a super guest today. Aaron Freeman of Locked On Falcons, a part of the Locked On Sports Atlanta family. He joins us today. Got some really good stuff to get into it with him. And last but not least, on the Florida culture, it's Jackie Robinson Day. Does that really mean anything? We'll get into all that. But before we get into that, I definitely want to give y'all a quick shout out like I always do. Well, thank you for liking and subscribing to Locked On Sports Atlanta. We really appreciate you. We want to ask that you continue to do that. Continue to check us out. Continue to follow us and support us. We're going to try to we're going to give you this good heat each and every day. And it's free on YouTube. Come on now. Go ahead and check us out. And also you can follow us and, subscribe and give us a comment on all the audio platforms. Wherever you get your podcast, we are there. We know you love us on iTunes, and make sure you continue to check us out on Spotify and all that good stuff. And we will continue to do our jobs as well. And we just want to say thank you for that. Tenitra Batiste.
Yes.
First up, the Atlanta Hawks take on the Cleveland Cavaliers tonight.
Yeah.
7:30 in Cleveland.
Yes, sir.
It's going down. I know you and I were up for All-Star weekend in Cleveland. And, it was super cold, but we need that thing to be cold, but we need to be ice cold Trae on 7:30 tonight when they tip off.
So JB Bickerstaff says, head coach of the Cavs.
Here we go.
To answer the question of what is we going to do about Trae, his response was that they will try to make him one-dimensional.
Okay.
I'll wait for it. So, here's the thing. I hear what JB is saying, and always going to do the coach. But ultimately speaking, that's the beauty of Trae Young in this iteration of Trae Young. You cannot really make him one-dimensional because even in a game where he goes 8 of 24 against the Hornets a couple nights ago, but he also had 11 assists. Right. And more importantly, just two turnovers. That's telling you that you really, if you try to make him one-dimensional, which everybody's definition these days of one-dimensional is trapping him the minute the ball is inbounded to him and then trying to affect him in that way, he's not turning the ball over. He's making very, very smart move choices. And he's also purposely getting the rest of the team involved early. So I think just having that maturity that we're seeing with him and understanding that he now understands the defenses that are coming at him, all kinds of versions of the trap, if you will, and understanding, well, hey, if you come and you collapse on me, then I'm going to kick it out. And then when I kick it out, if you try to bring that help defense late, I got guys who are going to make you pay. So if you try to focus too much on Trae Young, I believe that just like the X Factor Wednesday made the Hornets pay, my X Factor was DeAndre Hunter. I believe he can make him pay again because he's had a couple good games against the Cavs this season. Gallo might make him pay, Danilo Gallinari, or if Bogdan Bogdanovic is a go, I believe he can make him pay too. And one more person, because everybody's talking about Jarrett Allen and whether or not Jarrett's going to be back and he's questionable, he's 50-50, so on and so forth. Clint Capella has shown up and showed out on every single game for this past month, going up against some of the premier bigs in this league. So whether it's Jarrett Allen or whomever you're going to, send out there, if you will, trot out there on behalf of the Cavs, big man, I think Clint Capella, CC is more than ready.
Yeah, he's been ready. Like, he's been playing so well coming down the stretch. And I think that Clint is a guy that is going to be a huge factor for this team going forward. If they're going to move on and be competitive and potentially win against the Miami Heat, like Clint Capella has to play lights out like he's been doing. So I think that as the Hawks have, like I said, found their identity, without John Collins, this last month or so, I think that that's one of the key factors for them to get a win tonight in Cleveland. So, but the one thing that I think that you brought up, I thought that was very interesting is of course that X factor piece, right?
Yes.
Because that's the thing that we talked about against Charlotte, and like I said, you called it. DeAndre Hunter was that guy, and I think Bo had I think he had 13 points coming off the bench, so that is extremely productive. That's what you ask for him when to hit those open shots.
Yes,
and I think they was going to be asked to do that same thing. And the one thing about Trae, though, I feel like it is interesting, and it brought this up for the Charlotte game as well. Like forcing him to be one-dimensional, right? So either you're going to try to force him to be a passer, or you're going to force him to, if you're trying to force him to be a passer, like that's one of his best attributes, right? So if you get really aggressive with that trap, like the Hornets did to start off that game, like Trae shot horribly to start the game. And they were up by and they still were up, going into the half, and then end up building up a 30-point lead. So it's almost like pick your poison, right?
Poison.
Because the way you ask that question, what is we gonna do about Trae? That is the perfect way, the perfect explanation to say, like, okay, this dude is a problem. He is an absolute problem game planning for, because it's like on one hand, you would like to see him drop 40 and kind of contain everybody else. On the other hand, force him to pass and force him to find the open man.
Right.
And you have guys like DeAndre Hunter go for 20, because if DeAndre Hunter goes for 20 points, I'm guaranteeing right now they will win this game.
Yeah. And Dre, the games that he's played, not just the last, say, week or two, but also those games against the Cavs, you hit the nail on the head. 20 points, 19 points, 22, and hovering right around 7 rebounds. That's been a formula for success for the Hawks. And back to your point, I love what you said, because you've heard a few people, I don't want to say everybody, but you've heard a few folks kind of throw out there, man, the Hawks are going to need Trae to drop 40. No. The Hawks don't need Trae to drop 40. In fact, just the opposite. When they really are at their best is when Trae's somewhere in maybe the mid to upper 20s, like he was on Wednesday night, when he's getting a double-double, a points to assist double-double. That's when he's at his best, because then I can look at the box score and I can see where everybody else is contributing. I can see 6 players in double digits. I can look out on the court like I did Wednesday night and get excited about seeing good spacing, because now you're giving Trae some opportunities in where he can go with the ball, and even the ball movement and movement of the group with and without the ball. Even without the ball, it was just a good all-around game. And like CC said afterwards, we've just got to do it for 48 minutes. Keep their feet on their necks, especially in that third quarter, where the Hawks have gotten so much better on locking down on defense. And then the final thing that I think I want to see from them ultimately is, or one other person, you and I talk about him all the time, so I got to bring him out tonight today before we wrap up. And that's Onyeka Okongwu, because he's had some really solid games against the Cavs along with Gallo earlier in the season. And so I want to see him get back to form. He has been banging in the middle, but been getting in foul trouble of late. And so I want him to get back to form where he has a presence inside, not only if Jared Allen plays, but really to disrupt. Kevin Love has given some trouble there as well. And Lauri Markkanen has given the Hawks a little bit of trouble. But I think if Onyeka can do his job, to your point, from that second unit with Bogey leading the charge on offense and O on defense, I think the Hawks will be just fine.
The Hawks will be just fine, because they tip off tonight at 7:30. Make sure you check it out. We will definitely be talking about that reaction on Monday. Hopefully, we'll be responding to game one against the Miami Heat. Yeah, in a shocker.
In Miami.
Calling it right now. But another team that's not fine at all. The Atlanta Braves. Yeah, 3-5 right now. Charlie Morton goes for 5 innings, gives up 5 earned runs, and they lose 12-1.
Yeah.
Ozzie Albies snuck a home run in there last night, but it was ugly or oogly, as the wise folks used to say back in the day. It was ugly last night.
That was a straight up blood bath. It was painful to watch. If you even could sit through it the entire game, I will admit I was like, I had to tap out. I was like, this is too much, because we all were kind of, and even you and I talked about it yesterday, the excitement of, okay, maybe they'll get an opportunity to reset. They can kind of shake off this whole world champion celebration week that they have been a part of here at home, and maybe they can focus a little bit more on the road. And Charlie Morton gave us every reason to believe that could happen.
Every reason.
Based on his first start of the season. So I know none of us saw this coming, but also, Jarvis, the one thing that troubled me as well, outside of the obvious, which is not just Charlie Morton's play, but even the bullpen, kind of made us scratch our heads, because they had been really kind of keeping things within reach. Even in that 3-1 loss against the Reds, the bullpen kept that game in reach. The fielding, 3 fielding errors from the Braves.
Eddie Rosario was so ugly. That's so ugly from Eddie Rosario. My goodness, that was.
I was like, am I seeing this right?
Right, exactly. Yeah. So I mean, because they've always been a defensive team. Like, had one of the best infields last year, and then you bring in a Matt Olson, who's probably one of the better, if not the first or second best in Major League Baseball. So you don't think that type of thing is going to fall off, but it was super ugly. They actually got a chance to redeem themselves tonight, because they starting the season with 14 straight games. They take on the San Diego Padres tonight, 9:40. Kyle Wright will be on the mound, and I know I said this yesterday, because we said that Charlie Morton was going to be on the mound, but Kyle Wright had a really good time out last time, so let's make sure we continue that. Let's because I want to watch a game that I don't want to have to turn it off after the 4th or 3rd inning. Like, that's not optimal for my sports viewing pleasures.
Gotta get back to Braves baseball.
Get back to Braves baseball, indeed. And last but not least, before we get out of here, G-Day is going down tomorrow, 1 o'clock. Down there in Athens, red and black is going down. What are you going to be looking for, if anything? Because we know this is a glorified scrimmage, right?
It is. It really, really is. But I'll have my eye on what's going on under center. And yes, we know that Stetson Bennett is sort of the front runner for the quarterback position, the starting quarterback position. But here's my thought on that. There's still every opportunity, because I think Kirby Smart is still from the Nick Saban school of thought, which is every position, pretty much there's competition at every position. Why then do you have a Gunnar Stockton, a Carson Beck, a Brock Vandergrift? Why do you, load up? And I know you can load up because, hey, if one guy goes down, it's next man up. But I also think that there's something to be said about the possibilities of what they can bring to the table, especially Jarvis, because we are in a time and place of watching Dogs football where we're coming off arguably one of the best defenses to ever do it in college football. Now those guys, we're going to be watching to see what happens to them in 2 weeks in the NFL draft. We found out today 3 of them are even invited to Vegas for that first round, if you will. So with that being said, and the defense maybe not being what it was historically last year, that does put more pressure on the offense. And are we going to now open it up? Will Todd Monken get an opportunity, which he may be looking for, to open up the offense? So I'm just kind of looking to see what wrinkles they kind of put out there and what we can see in maybe those 1 or 2 snaps that we get from those other quarterbacks.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Because like you said, I think you make a great point. Like, the defense was amazing last year. We saw things from that defense that we've never really seen, that we haven't seen that much in college football. Like, yeah, that was pretty phenomenal on what that defense did. So, like you said, that some of the pressure is going to shift towards the offense, and you want to make sure that you're ready for that, like you're prepared for that. And like you said, it may involve Todd Monken either trusting Stetson Bennett a little bit more, or seeing if there is somebody that can push Bennett a little bit, because Bennett is the starter. I'm not questioning that. But I think that you know how I am, so, but there is something to be said about being able to push the ball down the field, being
Indeed.
consistent, taking care of the football. And a lot of times that does involve the guy that's the oldest, and that's Stetson Bennett. So if he's able to eliminate some of that stuff and still make some plays from time to time, I think he'll be okay.
Yeah.
But, the fans want greatness, and I get it. Like, you bring those guys in for a reason. Kirby Smart doesn't recruit five-star quarterbacks just cause. Like, he's like, okay, I'm gonna recruit this guy because he may be a starter, or I may want to play him one day because he's so good.
Yes.
So yeah, that's all. I think that's all Georgia Bulldog fans want to ask for. But all we're asking for you is to stick around, because coming up next, we got our guy at Falcon Fans, Aaron Freeman. He's part of the Locked On Sports Atlanta family. He is on Locked On Falcons.
Yes.
He will join us next on ATL Day Ones with Jarvis and Tenitra.